Hello and welcome to Introduction to ArcGIS. Today I'm going to show you the basics of the ArcMap software, which is the software we'll be using for this class. When you open your software, the ArcMap program, this is how it will show up out of the box. Toolbars are docked there, and I'm just going to give you a run-through, a little overview of some of the windows and the tools, and a little bit of the functionality. So when you open up ArcMap, this is how it will show up. Toolbars are completely customizable. You can move them around wherever you'd like, dock them wherever you want, wherever is good for you. Your standard Windows menus are across the top, and you can see that a few special ones for GIS that we'll get into. Two things to remember with ArcMap. There's two different files you'll be working with: map documents and data layers that go in those map documents. So what I want to show you is, first of all, how to open an existing map document. There's two ways. You can either go through the Windows Explorer and locate your file, which will have a .mxd extension on it, or you can do this traditional file open in your Windows menu. And we'll just open up here one of these map documents that come with the tutorial data that come with the book, and it opens, and we wait for a second. Here we go. Okay, so we have over here we have our table of contents, which lists the data layers that we're working with, and we'll make our data show up. There we are. And over here is our map window, which is where the data is displayed that you'll be working with. So prepackaged map document, when you save your document, that gives it the .mxd extension. That way you can come back to it at any time. This button right here is the Add Data button. This is where you would add a new layer to your map. So it brings up a similar dialog to the File Open menu. Here you would be able to go down through your directory tree to find where you're looking at, and let's add some streets from Manhattan to our map. Now we're zoomed way out, so this isn't going to show up immediately. But if you right-click here on this layer in the table of contents and select Zoom to Layer, it will zoom in to the extent of that data item. So here you can see that we've zoomed into Manhattan. You can roll your mouse wheel to zoom in and out, or you can also use the plus/minus magnifying glasses, or these fixed zoom in, zoom out buttons. You'll notice that when you put your mouse over a tool, a pop-up window will show up that will explain a little bit about what that tool does, so that you can decide which one you want to use. So we have our Manhattan streets. Now I'm not really familiar with Manhattan, been there once, so we can measure, use the measure tool here. So the little icons up here, measure line, measure area, and you can choose the units that you want to use, so miles, and we'll find out that then Manhattan is about 2 miles across. So just that tool is there for you. Now the other part of your data is the attribute data that goes along with it. You can see we have our streets here, and that's great, but what about those streets? There's a couple ways to access the attribute data. The first is to use the Identify tool, this little eye in the blue circle, and you can just select a feature, and it will pop up all of the information associated with that feature that's in your file. So you can see here on the streets we have things such as which zip code it's located in, the from and to node IDs, which are important in routing, and the address fields, the address ranges on either side of the road. The other way to access the attribute data is to right click on there and open the attribute table. And this will pop up the table of all of the features in your layer, and so it's not limited to just the one feature that you click on. So we'll get into the attribute tables a little bit later in the course. So if you want to select just a particular set of data that you want to work with, there's a couple ways of doing it. The default tool is to select either by clicking on individual features. You'll see that they turn blue. You can hold down the Shift key to select multiples, or you can drag a rectangle and select everything in that rectangle. You can also change the options here on the little pull down menu. You can select by a circle, so you can select a particular radius and select all the features within that. You can also do selecting through the table and select the individual features in the table. A couple of other windows, one other window at least, the catalog window. This is where you do your data management. This is where you would copy files, the data files, and do some data manipulation. And that just sits over here on the right hand side of your window. So go through the tutorials with your book and get comfortable with the software, and it is a trial and error process. It can be, and good luck. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll work through them.